if they were going to use a wide receiver like they would use like a Debo Samuel, if he was going to have some more like inventive play action RPOs, Jerry Jeudy would be the one that makes the most sense. I think he's got a lot more explosion than Cortland Sutton. I'm higher on him. I'm really just waiting for the Jerry Jeudy emergence here. I feel like this is his year for that, especially with Sean Payton. There's no excuse. He actually starts my final tiers here, which is just the flex position. Jerry Jeudy is more than capable of being a solid wide receiver too. I only have him here because I haven't seen it from him, and he's been hurt a lot. Maybe that's a little bit rude of me, but also, so to start this flex list, I have Jerry Jeudy. I also have a couple of rookie wide receivers I want to shout out. You shouted out one here, Jackson Smith and Jigba. It's almost a lock that him and DK Metcalf are going to light it up with the Seahawks this year. I think he's going to be really good. Another guy who I think is going to be really solid, mostly because this team just knows how to draft wide receivers. Jordan Addison out of Minnesota. I mean, look at how they've been the last 20 years. I mean, you go back to Randy Moss and Chris Carter. They also had the Percy Harvins of the world. They had the Adam Thielens. They just know how to draft wide receivers. Justin Jefferson, obviously. Jordan Addison, with what I've seen on tape from him, he's going to be electric. If he could get Adam Thielen numbers, he's going to be going in like the 8th or ninth round. He's a steal.
Yeah.
Also, I think Zay Flowers for the Ravens. Everyone's high on Rashard Bateman. I haven't seen it from Rashard Bateman. They've been calling Zay Flowers Juke Stick Flowers. Tell me that doesn't pass the name test. That guy's going to be electric. Other guys to shout out, Brandon Cooks. He's formidable if he can stay healthy. DJ Moore is a wide receiver one for the Bears. He should be formidable. Jake London.
Yeah.
Um, Gotta respect Chris Godwin here, even though I'm very nervous about Bucks wide receivers. I'm going to get to them when I
No,
talk about.
no, that's someone who doesn't need respect. No, you're good. I give you a pass if you want to remove him and replace him with someone like DJ Moore.
I'll replace him also with Mike Thomas
Okay.
because if he can stay healthy for the first time in 4 years, he'll be a good sleeper pick.
Okay.
And those are my flex positions. Everybody else after that, we start talking about third receivers, start talking about the Jacoby Myers of the worlds. Proceed with caution.
Yeah. Definitely proceed with caution when you start talking about the Jacoby Myers of the world. However, I will talk about someone of that world of Jacoby Myers, and that's going to be to start my flex position. He's not necessarily the best option, but he's going to be the number one option on his team, and that's Juju Smith Schuster. Like,
Hmm.
I get people kind of like, Juju. It's like he's still a guy who can get decent fantasy numbers and go out there week in and week out. He's going to be Mac Jones' number one target. Proved he could have big games in the Super Bowl against the Eagles. So I think Juju's going to be a great option. I think Brandon Ayuk
Hmm.
for that flex position is going to be
Yes.
a great option. Someone who stepped up huge last year when DK Metcalf was struggling with injury issues, just someone who's wildly underrated when we talk about sleeper wide receivers. That's someone who's actually slept on with the amount of number ones at running back, tight end, and receiver on that team. And then have to give respect to DJ Moore. His numbers aren't mind blowing, but they're consistently good where you could technically have him as your two wide receiver. I think he's going to be Justin Fields one this year. Well, I love Cole Kmet, and I think he's a transcendent talent on his team and just an amazing player. I think Darnell Mooney going to have to take a step back to DJ Moore on that team. And then other players I have here, I think Chris Godwin's tough, so I'm not gonna go there. But Hollywood Brown in Arizona, as much as it's like it's Hollywood, he's still the only, as you said, he's the only wide receiver on that team. So who else are they gonna throw it to? And then someone we have to give respect to because he's still the number one on his team, Michael Pittman. I
Hmm.
think he's a great option at flex right there. And then gonna round out this list. Um, with a guy who you didn't mention, just so we can keep it. So we have two lists that are kind of different here. Braylon Burks.
Hmm.
Braylon Burks in
Yeah, yeah. I
Tennessee.
forgot
He
about
had
him.
a great year last year. Looked like a mini Debo Samuel for Tennessee. Kind of looked like they drafted a replacement for AJ Brown. Had some injury issues. I think him and D Hop are both going to be able to eat, especially if Derrick Henry is getting a little bit older. Maybe he has to sit out a few weeks just to keep him fresh for the playoffs. I think he's still going to get a lot of targets, along with D Hop is only going to make his life easier because he was a rookie. And when you're a rookie and you come into the league and they're like, hey, you're the number one guy now, it's like that can be really hard, especially when you're going up against these guys like Sauce Gardner that are just amazing at what they do.